All right. China, Venezuela, spooky, spooky war. Venture movement. What's taking place north of the continental U.S., CONUS. What's going on in Alaska? Anyway, Venezuela, China, war with the U.S. This is by George Eaton, this article for Rumor Mill News, 6th of April, 2020. U.S. troops landing in Colombia for Venezuela invasion. U.S. troops in Colombia mobilizing near the border with Venezuela. Washington has 9 military bases in Colombia which allow the failing empire to threaten all other LATAM countries. Colombia also supplies 92% of the cocaine used by the huge U.S. drug market. U.S. troops in Colombia mobilizing near the border with Venezuela. Comment by a blogger on GP. Yes, this is why the ships were sent out a couple of days ago, and Trump announced it vaguely in the presser as the war on cartels. It's more than drugs, period. War with China starts in Venezuela. Trump has indicted Maduro from Venezuela, and there are a ton of reasons the Trump administration has decided to end the regime. Maduro basically sold out to China and essentially gave them a foothold in South America. Maduro has defaulted on loans from China, and the CCP would most certainly like nothing else but to move in and set up shop, further solidifying their influence on the worldwide stage and also giving them more power in the region. The great article listed below breaks down, and he's referring to an article at www.atlanticcouncil.org. www.atlanticcouncil.org. This article breaks down the intricacies of the Maduro and China connection. The Trump administration knows this is a shot across the bow, and they're willing to take it. Chinese President Xi Jinping, his support for Maduro reflects Beijing's fear that a violation of sovereignty in Venezuela will lead to the international community's meddling with Chinese internal affairs, specifically in relation to Taiwan and Hong Kong. Indeed, China's long-standing non-interference approach to foreign policy is driving the force behind its reluctance to join public calls for political change in Venezuela. Furthermore, as long as China perceives U.S. presence in the Asia-Pacific region, including military bases in Guam, Japan, and South Korea, and political support for Taiwan and Hong Kong as a threat, it has no incentives of siding with the U.S.-backed opposition leader, Juan Guaido. From 2007 to 2017, Beijing provided more than $60 billion in financial aid to Venezuela and financing, representing more than 40% of total Chinese lending in Latin America. China signed multiple contracts with Venezuela for development projects, including mining research and exploration, housing projects, communication satellites, and a railway company. I would also suggest one check out what's taking place in Africa with China. What moves have been made by China since 1990 in Africa, not only with respect to the rare earth elements and precious metals. Look to the side note here. The rare earth and precious metals agreement with Russia and China, 2010. Check that out. Need to look at what China's doing down in Africa. I know Africa had an issue with the white folk down there in Southern Africa, so they decided to eradicate them. That's really cute. Watch what China does. Watch what China does to Africa. Shit. Anyway. War via Venezuela. with China. Check it out and look out what's taking place north of us. Pincer. All right. Talk to you soon.